next thing I know it, I can feel the head coming out. And I'm like, oh yes. And then the head comes out and she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, wait, stop. I'm like, what? Stop.
Hi, welcome to Mommy Eating Well, sharing my motherhood tips and advice, mom boss journey, and family planning. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys, so it's me, Callie, and I am with y'all today with my husband.
Hello, my name is Jermaine.
And so, all right, so give him some slack. He's never been on video with me. This will be the first time, but we're going to be talking about the birth story. So when we left you guys, we were going to drop off my urine because they thought I had preeclampsia. And little did I know that Friday I actually delivered. So we're going to tell you from that video, and I'll leave the video in the description box up until what happened, how it all went down. So if you want to know, stay tuned. Okay, so let's back up. So like I said, go visit the other video. So it was February 5th, Wednesday. I was just going in for a routine doctor's visit. Nothing special, just a visit. And in that video, you'll see that, yeah, we were going for the visit. Jermaine calls me and he has like a flat tire.
Oh, that was a crazy look. That was crazy. I was gonna get up for early, run some errands, and it was cold. It's Texas cold, so it's like 40 degrees, 45 degrees.
Yeah.
It was gonna rain, and I had a flat tire.
Yeah. So he was riding around on a donut, and we were like, okay, well, let's go to the doctor's appointment first, and then we'll go to Discount Tire afterwards to get that fixed. So anyway, so he came to pick me up. We're going for just a routine, and you'll see that all in the old video. Okay, and so we went in for ultrasound. She looked beautiful. They actually said she was 6 pounds and like...
When we went in for the ultrasound?
Yeah, they said she was like almost 6 pounds.
Yeah, she was 5 pounds.
And like 13 ounces or something. Yeah, and so then everything went fine, and then we went to go see my doctor. So let me back up. So in that video, I talk about on 2 medications, and let me back all the way up. So now that I have delivered, I can tell y'all more about my pregnancy story. So at week 26, I actually was admitted to the hospital. Yeah. So I had a preterm labor, pregnancy scare. I had 2 positive fetal fibronectin tests, and they thought I was going to deliver like that week. And so yeah. So it's just been really a journey. Like I feel like God gives us warnings. He shows us signs. And like that was my sign to slow down. And so I've been like out of work since Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The week of.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving, I've been out of work. And I could work a few hours, but like the way my job is set up, they wouldn't let me go in to work those few hours. So I just been out. And so it actually turned into a blessing because I just had like all this free time. And yeah, it's just been really nice to be able to care for her in my womb, because that was the best place for her to be instead of outside in ICU. So just, yeah. So back up there. So at that time, she put me on Procardia, which is a medication used for cramps. I wasn't on it for blood pressure. So anyway, so let's back up and go to what happened that week. In the video, you see I weigh in to like 310 pounds, and she takes me to the room, and I have like a high blood pressure reading. And she was like, she just was looking at my records, and yeah, she was like, this doesn't seem right. This is one of the medical assistants. And so then, next thing I know it, doctor comes in, and I told her that I stopped taking that Procardia that Sunday because I was just curious on what my blood pressure would be without it. And so, yeah, so they were a little concerned that I might be threatening preeclampsia. Preeclampsia, right? Preeclampsia. Yes. So, yeah, so she was like, all right, well, we're going to run some tests. So you see me going to the lab, and then she asked me to do a 24-hour urine test. And so at that point, you see me with the jug. And so that's what I had planned to be doing. And she was talking about actually, if that came back positive, inducing me the next week. All right, so so we're having to remember what happened.
A lot went down.
Oh, a lot went down. So anyway, so we got the jug, right? And that Thursday morning, I woke up throwing up, like crazy vomiting. Like I thought I saw blood in my I know this is TMI. I thought I saw blood and it scared the crap out of me. I ain't telling nobody about that. And I had Jermaine look at it.
She said, I was like, no.
Because he thought I had tomatoes. So early in that video, you see I had Subways, but I didn't have any tomatoes on my sandwich. And I was like, I don't know what this is. But it scared me. I was really concerned. But anyway, we end up just staying up. We called the hotline, the nurse hotline. And did you go to Walmart at that point?
Yeah, so she called a nurse hotline, and then I went to Walmart to get a blood pressure machine. And oh man, this thingy here. So we went in to check her blood pressure, and I don't know what it showed exactly, but
it was high.
Yeah,
it was really high. It was like 170 something over 90 something. I actually wrote it down. I wrote it down somewhere, but anyway, it was high. I was really concerned. I was like, oh crap. I think it went up from the doctor's visit. And so that same night, we live in Austin, Texas. It was snowing. It was Austin snowing. It was like flurries.
Just a little bit to salt the ground, you know. Just a little bit. It wasn't even 30. It wasn't even 40 degrees. It might have been 40 degrees.
It was Austin snow.
Yeah.
If you live in Austin, Texas, it's a different type of snow. So anyway, so she was like, okay, she wanted me to just check it again. And she was trying to prevent me from coming to the emergency room, the OB emergency room. And so we checked it again, and it was still high, according to our blood pressure machine. And so we packed up, we got everything.
Yep, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to come back with another human?
I know, right? He was so excited. He thought that they were going to admit us.
Yeah.
And we were going to have the baby that Thursday. So, so we got to the hospital, and we went up to the floor, and they checked us in, and they were like, all right, we're just going to monitor you. And if you're a pregnant woman, like, you don't want to be sent back. Like, you want to be admitted. You don't want to be the person who is like crying wolf. But like, my pregnancy has been super crazy. Majority of my pregnancy has been kind of like, I don't know, maybe. And so even as I'm going to be unfolding this story, there's just a lot of pieces that was still like, I don't know, maybe. And so anyway, we went in, got checked in. Long story short, my blood pressure actually was really good. It was like 130 something over 70 something. Yeah. It was fine. All right. Anyway, I forgot to mention. So you remember I was on that 24-hour pee collecting situation. So I'm walking around with the pee jug, and the nurse is like, "What's up with the jug?" And I was like, yeah, we went to the doctor's office, and they had me on, just explaining to her what was going down. So I'm walking around at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, it was like maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning with the pee jug, going to the emergency room. Oh yeah. And my hair was half done. I didn't even have all my braids in yet. So, oh my God, I was like, this was one of my worst fears, that I would do my hair, I would take all my braids out, and my head would be half done. I knew, I had a feeling that this was going to happen to me. Okay, so this is where the story gets real interesting. So they sent us home. They were like, blood pressure's fine. You're looking good. Just continue the 24-hour urine test. The doctor on call, she was in correlation with my original doctor. And so, yeah. So everything was fine. So went home Thursday. I was like, okay, cool. I was chilling. And then Friday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, like 4:00 on the dot, I feel this pop in my belly. And I'm like, what the heck was that? That's what I was thinking. It woke me up out my sleep. That's how strenuous the pop was. And I was just like, is it me? Or am I feeling things? Y'all, like, I felt crazy during my pregnancy. I felt so crazy. Anyway, so I got up and I went to the bathroom and I was like, okay. And then I started cramping really bad. And it reminded me of the cramps that I had at 26 weeks. And I was like, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I started freaking out a little bit. I started freaking out. So if you don't know, we had 2 miscarriages. And so mentally, I struggle sometimes with that. And so I was kind of in a place in my head where, oh my God, is this what is supposed to be happening? And so
yeah. I reassured her that this is normal. This is a part of the process.
Yeah.
And everything's gonna be okay.
Yes. And that was like super helpful because I was like, what the heck is happening? I was kind of in denial. I was like, I'm just cramping. I'm fine. It's not labor. Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. But it was labor. And so we call again and we tell them what's going on. And so at that point we took classes. I'm so glad we took those classes.
Yeah, it helped out a lot.
A lot. Like, guys, if you have the opportunity to go to a childbirthing class, go, because it really helps. I realized that I was in early labor. And there's a difference. Early, active, and then like pushing, right? Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. But we realized we were in early labor, so we started using some of our techniques that we had learned, and we weren't too concerned about going immediately to the OB that time, the OB emergency room that time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, all right, so we're in active labor. Okay, so we spoke to the doctor and she was like, all right, you got 2 choices. You can go back to the OB emergency room, or you can go to your doctor's appointment, because remember, I still have that 24-hour urine that I needed to turn in Friday. All right, so I think I'm in early labor. Yeah, started about 4 o'clock this morning. I felt like a tinge. I don't know, it was really weird. Like something just was like, oh, we ready. And then not too long after that, I got cramps in my lower abdominal and that hurt like crap. So yeah. So then I went to the bathroom and I saw a little blood tinge, so I called my doctor. So I'm gonna go up for an appointment and we'll go from there. So we'll see. This is one of the things that sucks. I just feel like my body knows when I'm about to be tested, when I'm about to be on a monitor, because all of a sudden I ain't having no contraction, no nothing. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? So I had one when she put me on the machine, and so they could barely even pick it up, and that was an issue throughout that whole 24 hours. They could barely pick up my contractions. So anyway, however,
they left her on the machine for about an hour, and then the doctor checked back again.
Yeah,
she was dilated 2 centimeters.
Yeah, and my doctor made that face like, oh, because they didn't pick anything up on the machine. But she said contractions are when their cervix changes.
Yeah. When
something like that.
Changes,
and I was like, it was reassuring that she checked me. And so I went from 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters an hour. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, oh, yeah. Okay. So at that point, they needed to see if my water broke, because you remember I said I had like a pop? So they needed to see if my water broke. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes, she needed to check to see if my water broke. So she did like 3 different tests.
when we went to the same place we were at the night before, it was the triage. It was
Well, she first did like 3 tests in office to see if my water broke, and she was talking about looking under the microscope for some ferns. I don't know, but yeah. But then she said, okay, to make sure, absolutely sure, there's this other test that they want to do. It's called Amysure or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's when we had to go back over to the OB/ER to get that test done.
Okay, and Amysure is like, I think it tested to see if you had any amniotic fluid.
Something like that, yeah.
That was,
and that like officially is a positive. Like, okay, yeah, your water definitely broke. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so we back everything up in the office. Forget the P test because I am in freaking labor and my water has possibly broken. So what this tells us is whether I can actually go home and do my whole laboring, my early labor at home, or do I need to be in the hospital? Because if my water broke, they're concerned about infection. And so I need to deliver within the 24 hours, I believe. Something like that. Yeah. She's waking up.
FOMO.
Okay, so I just left the doctor's office. It's about 10:30. I've been there since 7:30. I'm still having contractions. We went in a more bloody show. The contractions, they come in like 20-minute increments, and they feel like really, really strong period cramps in the lower abdomen. But yeah, she's doing great. I have to now go to the hospital because they want to make sure my water hasn't broken. So if my water hasn't broken, then I can labor at home for a while because I'm 2 centimeters dilated, so that'd be great. But if it's broken, then I have to stay the whole time and labor at the hospital. So we're gonna go eat some Chick-fil-A first. So I am starving. Then we're gonna go to the hospital.
We had to take a little break. This is a story of our life now.
Take a little break.
Yes. All right. You be quiet, okay? Anyway, so we were going to the emergency room because they needed to find out if my water broke. So before we went, though, we had to stop by Chick-fil-A.
I remember now.
Yeah, we went to Chick-fil-A first. And then we went to, so when we took our birthing classes, sometimes they don't let you eat after a certain time. So I didn't know when that was, and I wasn't about to be in the hospital hungry. No, not doing that. So anyway, so we went and finally got to the emergency room, and they checked us in, and then they did that test. So they checked us in and everything, and they did that, I think, Amysure. And the nurse said it was positive, but then when the doctor came to see us, it was a different doctor. She was like, well, we just want to make sure, because I was 36 weeks in like 3 days. Mm-hmm. They wanted to be absolutely positive because they were going to have to induce me. And I think maybe it's illegal or something to induce somebody before. I don't know. But anyway, so they just wanted to make sure.
Illegal.
I don't know. But anyway, they wanted to make sure that my water actually broke before inducing me. Okay? That was the main point. So anyway, they did that test. And then, oh my God, that test hurt so bad. I just remembered. That test hurt. Because the nurse did it. I don't know what was going on, but that test hurt. So then the doctor came in and did another test. Mm-hmm. And she went to the micro lab. Mm-hmm. She went to the lab too.
Oh, with the Q-tip.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
that.
She was like, that Q-tip is she was like, it's very dry and coarse.
That thing was terrible. It hurt so bad.
Might be TMI, but
Oh well, they know what they're getting themselves into. But anyway, so she went to the micro lab, came back. Apparently there were some ferns or whatever. And next thing I knew it, they were like, "Yeah, you're having your baby today." So this is Friday, February the 7th. All right, so next thing you know it, she was like, "Oh, we having a baby today." I was like, "Oh shoot now." Oh my God. So at this point, I'm still having contractions, but they've settled down. It was weird. I was probably having like 1 hour. It was really weird. But my water had definitely broke and there was like leaking. But they said that the problem was usually when your water breaks, it goes whoosh. But they said like maybe it was like a 4% chance of having like a small leak. And that's what I had. And so, yeah, who knew? Story of my life, though. Story of my pregnancy. So anyway, they sent us to this big room, huge room. And that was the labor and delivery suite.
Oh, yeah, where all the magic happened.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. And so we started thinking about all the different tools that we learned in class because I was getting ready to go into active labor. So they are at this point getting ready to induce me. And so, yeah, they're going to have to run the Pitocin. So, yeah, so she was setting that all up for me. Real nice lady. It was a real nice nurse in the beginning. And, yeah, so I was just trying to figure out, like, questions. I think I asked her, like, so am I having the baby today? Because to my understanding, the doctor was like, yeah, we're probably going to have a baby in the next 4 hours. And do you remember me asking that question?
No.
I was like, no. I had asked her something about 4 hours. I was like, what does that mean? So, you good? You just love talking. You love hearing us talk. All right. So at this point, she had started the Pitocin. You know, I was still all happy-go-lucky. This isn't too bad. All right, I can handle this.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Trying to watch stuff on TV.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious came on.
Yeah, we watched the Fast and the Furious. Yeah, now I'm remembering.
Yep.
And then she started that dang on Pitocin.
Yep.
And so I started asking her questions like, you know, how long will this take? Because look, I was like, I needed to know when I was going to get this epidural. Because at that point, I was doing fine, but like, I didn't want to get it too soon, but I didn't want to get it too late or the possibility of not being able to get it. Because at that point, my labor wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that bad. And so I would say when my contractions came, they were like an 8. They were like an 8. So anyway, we about to get into the nitty gritty now. All right, so things started getting real fast. She started that freaking Pitocin. It was like, what, maybe 30 minutes later, I started to really feel it. And I was like, oh, shoot. And I think, what did I say? This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, she said, this isn't fun anymore. I was like, oh.
And so I was still trying to do the different things we learned in class where you like turn and then my babe, he massages my back through my contractions and stuff. I had all these dang on monitors. It wasn't working.
She was moving around too much. I was like, what in the world's going on?
I
She
was
was
trying.
on the back, and then she had it on all fours, then she got on the side. And
I was trying.
Like, man,
I was like, no.
Here?
And so then, yeah, I went to the bathroom, had another one, and it was getting pretty bad. I was like, okay, this is a lot. Listen to me, Callie. No more babies. It's not gonna happen, okay? Stop getting any ideas. I'm filming you now. So when you get in a moment and you feel like, oh, maybe one more. No. It's very painful. Remember that pain? You probably forgot by now. If you're watching this video, it's because you're thinking about having another child. No, don't do it. So at this point, my blood pressure started going up. I started to look over, and I was like 165/90. And the nurse was like, so, epidural? And I was like, she was like, do you want the doctor to check you first, or do you want him to go ahead and do the epidural? And I was like, because they were coming, but it wasn't like that bad. Like,
Yeah.
but it was still bad. So, so I was like, well, I can wait until the doctor come check me.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, okay. So then she left the room.
Yeah.
And I had another one. I said, no, get her epidural now. Epidural. I'll like one, please. Isn't that what I said? I was like,
well, from what I remember, she came in and checked, but
no,
she,
I was like, no, epidural, yes.
Okay,
I remember. No, she checked later.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like 2 hours later.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Wow, that was a long. We were in that room for a long time.
A long time. Yeah.
Huh.
That was probably around 5 or maybe 4. I don't remember. We don't remember times. But anyway, so the lady came in to come do my epidural, and at that point, guys, like I was done. I was like, no, we need the epidural now. She came in the room. I was like, stick me, and like,
she was trying to do all the pre stuff. Oh, ma'am, so you know it's blah 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 blah. Kelly's like, I already know.
I work with all the anesthesiologists, so I knew who it was, and I knew she had to give me the rundown. But I was like, I know you, I know your work. Go ahead and stick me now, stick me. It was so bad. The pain was so bad. I was like, heck no. And at that point, like, when you're having a contraction, it is hard to sit still. So imagine someone trying to put a needle in your back and you're having a contraction, you're trying to sit still so that they don't poke the wrong place.
Like your spine.
Yeah. So, well, they're going into your spine, but it's like, you just don't want them to miss, and then you got half an epidural in your system. As far as like one side of your body is numb and the other one isn't. So yeah. So she did a great job. She did a great job. And surprisingly, I still had movement in my legs. My legs weren't like completely numb.
Yeah, everybody was surprised about that.
Yeah, but I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel anything. I could feel pressure. I could feel pressure, but I could not feel like pain. Okay, so the doctor finally came around and she checked me.
Yeah,
again.
She checked her and she was at 5.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great that we had progress because I had got the epidural, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't know, and that was what was concerning because I didn't want to be like in so much pain, and I'm at 3. Yeah, so it was great to know that I was at 5 because my goal was to get the epidural at 6. So I thought, I was pretty close to that goal. So anyway, so you keep on laboring and it's this rhythm of the contractions coming and coming, and they come faster and they come stronger. And that's just the way to explain it. Like, there's no other way to explain it. It's this pain in the bottom of your pelvic. And so they were having a hard time picking up my contractions.
For a little bit at the very beginning. Well, after they started the epidural, then they were like, okay, she got checked, and then they were trying to figure out, okay, is the machine going to tell us, like, when the contractions are coming? Is this going to correlate with how the baby's doing? And what I started to notice is after, I don't know, it's probably like an hour or so after the process had began, that when her blood pressure would go up, that's when the contractions would begin to get stronger. And then you could actually, like the nurse that was helping us could actually like feel when it was about to happen on her tummy.
But they had a really hard time picking it up on the monitor. So I feel like that's how I felt from my perspective, which it's kind of, it makes you feel crazy because it's happening. But you don't see it on the monitor. And like he said, it was pretty cool that she could check my belly and she knew where the contraction was. And that was super helpful when it got to pushing. All right, so now at this point, feeling pretty good. I'm like, okay, we can do this. I got the epidural. We're good. And so then she checked me and I was 9.
And she checked her, she was 9, and then they had about 3-4 people up in there like they're about to deliver the baby this point in a second. This second right in there.
And then she actually, the baby de-statted. Yeah, like baby was not doing great. And they had to flip me over like 3-4 times. It was crazy. And they wanted me to like lift myself up. And at this point, guys, I have no upper body strength, no lower body strength. I'm trying to get my life back. But I tried my hardest to get in position because baby girl was not doing good. She wasn't doing good. And so at that point, the doctor was like, you know, we might have to do a C-section.
And when Callie heard C-section, something happened. It was like, okay, we gotta get this together. And the doctor left, and then from there on out, we're pushing. It was me, Callie, and the nurse, and we were trying to time the contractions. We're timing them better, and we were just pushing.
So let's hold on. Hold on. No one told me about pushing. Well, you know what? Someone did tell me pushing. But I thought pushing was going to be like 1, 2, 3, push. Oh, baby. No. Don't let anybody tell you that. No. I pushed for what? 3 hours?
Yeah, we started at 9. Baby came out at 11:58.
Oh my
crazy.
God. It was. Let me explain this to you, okay? So I got the 10. You're so excited because at this point you think, oh, we're almost done. Oh my goodness. No, you're just beginning, okay? When you get to pushing, you're just beginning. And so you're trying to figure out, if this is your first pregnancy, you're trying to even figure out what the heck are you pushing at? Like, you don't even know what you're pushing at.
Yeah.
And so she kept saying it's the same muscle where you like poop.
Basically, because because the baby is coming at the same angle, the same canal, not the same canal, but
no, not the same.
The same direction,
but the same direction.
general direction. That would be so we feel a lot alike.
Yeah. And then there's some stuff that happened, but we won't talk about that. It is what it is.
Things happen. Baby's here.
The Chick-fil-A came through.
Oh no.
Pushing was so hard, guys. And I remember one of my friends saying like, his wife ran out of energy. And at that point, guys, like I was poof. I was so tired. There's nothing that, you know, I kept asking women like, you know, is there any exercises or anything that could have helped with being prepared to push? The only thing that I can tell you that helps is your breathing. I could not control my breathing because my body, it started just shaking.
Oh yeah, that is right.
And so at this point, my body's shaking and I'm trying to push. And it was very difficult to focus on breathing. It was so hard. But I was able to do it, and like baby, she was doing great. And so I like, y'all, I was like, C-section, let's do it. Like C-section was sounding amazing at that point. Like that, I was like, cut me open. That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was like, why God? Like that's where I was mentally. But like baby was doing so good. She kept going, so I kept going. I was like, okay, if baby is going to keep going, then I'm going to keep going. And so it wasn't until, because you know, my nurse was like, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. But I saw my husband's face and I could tell he was like, dang, where the baby at? Where the baby at? But he was so helpful with holding my legs and encouraging me and stuff like that. But I knew his face. I knew when he saw baby, we were really close. So I was looking at that. And so my husband, he was like, oh, the head.
I saw the head. I saw hair and head. I was like, ooh, baby's coming. Push, baby.
Yeah,
She's
that's
there.
when I was
She's
like,
there.
okay, we are here. We are so close. That's when I really got some energy and I just kept pushing. Because here's the thing, your contractions are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming and keep coming. And you have one or two choices. You either push or you bear through the contraction pain. One or the two. And you don't want to waste a contraction when that could have been a push.
And so that's kind of where that's what I got to. Next thing I know it, I can feel the head coming out. And I'm like, oh yes. And then the head comes out and she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, wait, stop. I'm like, what? Stop. You can't stop a baby from coming out.
Right.
And so the doctor wasn't in the room. And so you got to wait until the doctor comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, hold on. And I'm like, to what? I don't know what. I was like, help me.
When the doctor came in, she was like, help, somebody help. And it was like 4 people that came in, the doctor, and other people that were assisting and was helping.
They were like, all right, push. I was like, you can't tell nobody, no, wait, stop. No, you can't do that. Like, there's no way. Like, it's coming out. And you don't care. Like, you just have to push it out. So, yeah, I pushed her out. And she came out and I heard her crying. And I was so happy.
She did such a good job.
Yes.
It's a strong lady right here.
Oh my God. I was
goodness.
so happy.
I was so proud of her.
Oh my God. It was crazy. But I was so glad to hear her crying, her strong lungs. And then the placenta was delivered.
Yeah.
I felt that come out, but it wasn't nothing. And then she had to stitch me up. I had a 2nd-degree tear. And she put that needle in. Ooh. I said, I can feel it. And so she put some lidocaine down, and then she was able to stitch me up. And then I remember now. So a few days later, like a day later, the lady from the, I think, birth certificate office came.
Yeah.
And they bring this paper in, and it has my thumbprint on it.
Yeah.
I said, who? I said, when did someone get my thumbprint?
Right after I cut the umbilical cord, you came and did all that. You did the thumbprint. She got her heels on there. Both of the thumbprints on there, right and left.
You're like so tired. You're like so tired.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, guys, that was pretty much the birth story. And then she was born. And then she had some issues with her blood sugars. That was rough. But she had to spend just one night in NICU. And that was super helpful, actually, because it was really great to like listen to the NICU nurses, and they gave us a lot of great advice. So we were running over there every 3 hours to go check on her. And I was latching her and stuff. And yeah, they were really good. NICU, man, them NICU nurses, everybody, the labor and delivery nurse, everybody was great. Like,
yeah, it was a great overall experience.
Awesome experience. Like, I was so scared, guys. I was so terrified. But I had an awesome, positive experience. Very positive experience. They gave us so much information. I felt like I had some tools to go home with. I felt pretty confident leaving the hospital with my baby. So it was good.
Yeah, it was good. NICU definitely prepared us for what we're currently doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Every 3 hours, something.
Oh, Jesus,
and
Lord.
not stopping.
Not stopping.
Every 3 hours.
You don't sleep at all.
Every 3 hours.
Every 3 hours.
Every 3 hours.
Yeah, no, maybe 2. Maybe 2 sometimes. You think you sleep now? Nah. That's cute.
I don't know how this lady has so much energy right now.
Well, I felt like when I was pregnant, guys, it was rough. And so as soon as I delivered, I told everybody, I was like, how you feeling? I was like, I could run a marathon. I felt like I could run a marathon. So yeah. But anyway, yep, that's our birth experience.
That was a birth experience. It was overall good. It was hard. It was I definitely grew closer to my wife as a result of that, and yeah, just really proud of her and the baby, and everything turned out. It was good.
Good stuff. But yeah, but we gotta go. When she gets older, I will bring her on camera, but for right now, I don't want to put her on camera yet. I'm just not there yet.
But she's beautiful. I haven't, like, a lot of people have not even seen her yet. Only her aunties, her grandmothers, and her that's about it. Not a lot of people. But when we get there, you'll see her in some of my videos. But for now, we're keeping her private. All right, thank y'all so much for watching this video. See y'all soon. Bye.